Hey everybody, Aaron here. Welcome back to another anime review. Today we look at episode 6 of Danganronpa 3 Future Arc. So, a lot of cool stuff happened in this episode. Overall, very solid episode. Honestly, we see some familiar faces from before. We get a whole bunch of new story elements. We get some more added questions and answers to the story in general. It's a great episode, bottom line. Let me talk about what happened though before I talk about my theories of next week's episode and stuff like that. So I'm skipping past the first part because the first part was essentially just the psychic outside and kind of goofy stuff out there. I want to get into the meat and potatoes of the episode. So we have Makoto dreaming, and in his dream he sees Kirigi dead next to him, and he has Makata behind him saying, why don't you kill yourself, Makoto? You could have ended all of this suffering for yourself if you would have just killed yourself. You wouldn't have to worry about your friends and allies being killed all around you. This is your fault in the first place. And that means that Makata's words are resonating with Makoto in general, and that's not a good thing. You see that in the several parts of the episode that he started to get disheartened, and that's not good for the ultimate hope to get disheartened. Now, meanwhile, everyone's waking up from the third execution moment of the game. And what's funny is that Kirigi and her group run into two dead bodies, not just one. So not only does she run into the ultimate chemist, who's dead from what we saw last week, of course, but she runs into the blacksmith Yu, who also is dead from the same wound that killed the chemist. Very interesting. I'm very curious what that is because, as we know, the rules state that only the killer is able to kill only one person, and here two people are dead from the same exact thing. Either someone is clearly a killer or there's accomplice working with the killer. That's what my thoughts are. But I'm very curious what Kirigi is probably going to figure out from this. And overall, what your guys put in the comments below, what do you think is going on? Because overall in this episode, there's a whole bunch of mysteries and stuff like that. Feel free to put in the comments, your thoughts and your theories and stuff like that. I will gladly read them. But anyways, Makoto and his group end up hacking into the monitor system and see the carnage of everyone being dead, but more so they see the old man dead, and they see that he wrote down something to Makoto, obviously saying, "I entrust the hope of the world to you." This really screws up Makoto. Like, he falls back on his ass and he goes, how is he trusting me with the future of the world? I don't get it. And he's really disheartened. And you know what saves him? Not just Lisa, excuse me, but Monica. That's the crazy part. Monica actually feels bad for him and starts saying, what? Let me fill him with hope again, so this way he'll be okay again. And starts, typing in so her the little AI starts talking for her and stuff like that. But what's funny about this is that she actually ends up making Makoto kind of realize, hey, she's right. I'm not alone. I have my friends and allies. And she even comes with a plan, saying, oh, let's contact the human race outside. We have any contacts we could do that? And he goes, okay, I know exactly who to contact. And an old face will show up, Bayaku. Oh my! Well, I cannot say his name. I'm just call him Tagami because I can't say his first name for some reason. All of a sudden, this is what happens when you review stuff really early in the morning. It's not super early in the morning right now, like it's 11:50 in the morning. But I don't know if you guys follow me on Twitter. I don't get very much sleep last night. I had terrible sleep last night. So in general, that's like nothing new for me. But honestly, it's screwing me up for like the last couple of days. So I'm not even gonna try to say his name. I'm just gonna say Tagami. But we have Tagami over here, who's an old familiar face. Holy crap, we haven't seen him in a long time. I mean, especially if you've played the games, you've only seen him so many times in the games. The first game, of course, he's one of the main characters, but the second game, he's like a side character, and the third one, also a side character. So it's been a while since we've seen him, and it's really cool to see him. And Takami is telling him that, yeah, he doesn't see any broadcasts. That didn't happen. What are you talking about broadcasts? And, so Makoto fills him in on everything that's going on, saying that they're part of a killing game, and, that apparently it was supposed to be broadcast, but Tagami's like, no, it wasn't broadcast. That never happened. And then he just overall says, I'm going to come and get you. Don't worry. But he also tells him about Jabberwock Island, which is anyone who does not have, or has not played, the second game, does not know what that is. What that is essentially is where the cast of characters from Danganronpa 2 are. And it's very important to remember that because I'm not going to spoil it too much in case you are somehow watching the game or something like that or playing it currently. But that is a very important place in the story overall. So definitely be on the lookout for that. But Tagami says, hey, listen, I'm gonna somehow get a hold of you, and I'm also going to get a hold of two other people. Now, for people of the games, like, fans of the games, I should say, I already knew who those people are. I knew he was going to contact instantaneously. We saw some kind of previews of it last week, but I knew for a fact who they were going to be. I don't think anyone was surprised. Now, what's funny, though, is when he gets off the phone with him, the one of the members next to Tagami goes, "Hey, why don't you tell him the truth about that one girl, the girl who died?" And we find out that yeah, indeed, we already know this. I mean, obviously, but the girl who was the wheelchair girl has been dead, and just found out not that long ago, apparently, that she did die and was murdered most likely. Which is, this scene was really creepy. I mean, like, ugh, weird scene. But Tagami's like, if I told them that, they would get attacked. So I can't tell them right there, hey, your attacker's right next to you, which makes complete sense. I mean, honestly, that would not work out the way he thinks it would work out. So Takami, though, calls up two people, old familiar faces. We have Fukawa, and we have Makoto's sister, Kamaru. Holy shit! It's been a long time since we got to see these two. If you haven't played the games, you haven't seen them at all, from the besides the first game and the first anime for Fukawa. But Makoto's sister is a big role in the Ultimate Despair Girls, which is the third game technically of the series. I'll tell you right now, they are essentially dealing with the whole future foundation stuff outside of the realms of the game, if that makes sense. And I'm going to explain it as best I can really fast. But what happens in Ultimate Despair Girls is that they are in a city which is being run by the Ultimate Despair group and the organization in general. That was where Monica was hiding. And that's where she was doing all the stuff with the robots and the other Monokumas attacking and stuff. Various things. I'm not going to spoil it too much. But the short and nitpicky of it is that they stayed behind in the city after the game ended to make sure they could find her first off, and also just to kind of stop the foundation of despair and stuff from going any further than what they have already, because they're trying to get back this island as a kind of strong point for the future foundation arc. But it's funny about that is that these two I'm glad to see them, because Ultimate Despair Girls, I wasn't a big fan of that game, to be honest, but I was a fan of these characters, so I'm really happy to see them, and they're probably going to be a bigger role in next week's episode, so that's really cool. Now, Makoto at the end realizes, hey, you know what, I have my allies, I'm not alone, I can do this, we can do this all together, so he's back, he's ready to take action. Now, the very last scene of the show has a whole bunch of battleships aimed at Jabberwock Island, and we see, if you've been watching Thursday's episodes of the series, so Side Despair, you know who that is. That's Hajime himself. He is standing right there, and it looks like he's still being partially controlled by the system that made him into the artificial hope, which is inevitably the future, like the actual person, Despair, Ultimate Despair. It looks like he might be still under control to a point, but it doesn't look like he's as bad. So hopefully, the rehabilitation, if I could say my words correctly, have actually fixed them a little bit. I'm presuming they have. We're going to definitely see it, though. I'm very curious how they're going to go. So my thoughts, overall, is that there are two killers in the midst of the place. I know Makuma said there's only one killer, but how is that possible that, maybe, okay, one killer associated with him, of course, but maybe there's another killer that's out to kill everyone there. That's obviously, I don't think it's Mankata, because I know some people might say that. I don't think it's him, because, Yu was killed by the same knife that killed the chemist girl, so most likely someone else killed him. And my thoughts might be that it could be a kind of hidden agent within the whole group of them. So that's very interesting. I'm just curious how that's going to go. But overall, like I said, put in those comments down below. Tell me what your theories are. This episode was awesome. I can't wait till next week's episode. I can't wait till Thursday's episode, nonetheless. Anyways, guys and girls, I will talk to you later. Have a great day. As always, hit the like button, subscribe button, share button. You the whole nine. Bye-bye.